Welcome to your day 11 flow. We are continuing to work with our Vata dosha, so on grounding, strengthening, and really supporting the lower part of the body. So we're going to get started down on our back and just making sure you have at least one block definitely today, or something that represents a block. And I'm just going to start with a bend in the knees, and we're placing our block in between our legs, just a gentle squeeze, so bringing the inner thighs onto the flat face of your block or your prop, and then just coming to rest all the way down on your spine, back of the head grounded. Continuing a soft gaze up to the ceiling or the sky. Otherwise, here I invite you to close your eyes down. Starting to deepen and even out your breath. Starting to draw awareness through the pelvis, observing what's showing up here as you gently hold the block between your legs. And with this block here between our legs, it helps us to maintain a neutral pelvis. Noticing any different feelings from left to right, where maybe you naturally relax your skeleton, your ligaments, your muscles. Starting to swirl the breath down and around our pubic ball. And you almost create a figure eight around the hip joint. The female meets the pelvis. Moving the right hip flexor. Between the legs, around right glute and around the outer right hip. Up down between the legs, around left glute, up around the outer left hip. Lever, left hip flexor, back down between the legs. Just continuing that figure eight breath. Maybe you start with that breath circulating around the surface, and then can you take it deeper, visualizing your skeletal system. And doing a couple more rounds of this visual. Your attention to the very tip of your nose, coming here, so just notice the natural breath flowing into the body, letting go of the visual of the breath moving around the pelvis and out. Really expanding the body with the breath, keep breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. your side, palms facing flat down to the earth, forearms grounded into the mat. Just beginning with some pelvic tilts here. Maybe you notice you have a little bit of space through the lower back with a natural arch. Maybe it's a tiny space, or maybe you can just sense the natural arch of the spine. So here I want you to start to tuck your tail under. So as though you're trying to send your tailbone up towards your knees, feel the lower abdomen engage, and starting to flatten out that lower back space. And then exhale, release. And the opposite, so we're drawing the hips backwards, so you're trying to send your tailbone now back towards your head, deepening the arch of the lower back. We inhale, tuck the tail under, tailbone shines up towards the knees, so engage lower belly. And then we draw back, deepen the lower arch of the spine. Finding 3 more rounds just like this, tail draws under, lengthening the lower back, compressing it down to the mat. And deepen the arch of the spine. And just relax completely through lower belly. One more, inhale, drawing under and just holding here with that lower belly engaged. Gentle squeeze of the blocks, making sure you can just touch your heels with your longest fingertips. And as you inhale, we ground into the feet, start to lift the hips high, rising into a bridge pose. And exhale, releasing all the way back down. Couple more rolls here. Relax the lower back when you hit the ground, and tucking tail under. Strong through lower belly, we inhale, press and rise to the hips. And exhale, lowering all the way down. Soften, find that arch in the spine, draw tail under, inhale, rise. And exhale to release. I'm going to find one more. Soften lower back, then draw tail under, engage lower belly. We inhale, lift, come to rise and hold at the top. Option to stay here, we interlace hands by the lower back. Maybe walk the shoulder blades in a little closer, start to send the knees forward, press the heart behind. Engaging lower belly, gentle tap of tail with a natural curve down. Shouldn't feel any discomfort through the lower back. And here, think about pressing the back of your heart through towards the front. Find one more breath in. Exhale, keeping block between the legs, we slowly release the spine back down. And drawing both knees into the chest, block still remains between the legs. We find a little rock from side to side. And bringing arms out into a T position, block still between the legs. We take a twist, dropping both knees over to the right. And inhale, knees draw back through center. Exhale, dropping knees over to the left. Inhale, strong through belly, we come back through center. Arms down by your side, keeping block between the legs, start to stack the knees on top of the hips. Pointing through the toes, we bring the calves parallel to the mat. Taking a breath in. Strong through the core, think lower belly engagement as we start to lower and tap both of the toes down towards the mat. Inhale, rise knees back on top of the hips. Exhale, we tap the toes, trying to keep a 90-degree bend in the knees, block still between the legs. Inhale, drawing back. Exhale, we tap the toes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap. Got 5 more. Drawing knees, stacking on top of hips. And then we tap. Inhale, lift. Tapping for 4. Inhale, nice work. 3 more. Exhale, tap. Nice and controlled. Slowing Vata down. Busy, busy, busy. Focusing on one thing. Last 2. Or maybe I've added an extra, but we'll go for 2. And last one. And stacking your knees on top of the hips. See here if you can keep your block in between your legs as we cross over the ankles. We're going to come and roll forward onto the knees and find your tabletop position. So block here is still underneath the legs. Moving through our cat-cow with our block. Through inhale, start to lower the belly, lift the heart. Tucking tail under, squeeze a little deeper onto the block as you draw the chin to chest. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 2 more rounds here. Moving into our downward dog. Hands come a little further forward. We spread fingertips wide, pointer fingers face to front of mat. We tuck all 10 toes, lift the hips, block still between the legs here. Taking a few breaths to hold here, just feeling this position with our block. Think about wrapping the upper arms in towards one another, making sure we're not holding through the head, let it be heavy. Stretching the mat forward at the fingertips, we lift high to the hips. Not dumping into the lower back, we follow the natural curve of the tailbone down towards the heels to engage the lower belly. Heels tracking down towards the mat, or deep bend in the knees. In this position, I want you to think about trying to shoot the block out from behind you, so that will help you connect to that internal rotation of your inner thighs. Nice, feeling nice, stable pelvis here. Taking one more inhale. And soften as you exhale. Lifting high onto the tiptoes, gaze forward, block between the legs as we baby step forward to our fold, bending the knees here if we need, making sure belly's on the thigh. Tuck the chin, visor, tuck the chin. Weight comes forward to the front of the feet, crown draws down to our tiptoes. Slowing the breath down, calming Vata. Using the air, space coming into the body to draw the Vata, to focus on the physical body. We lift through the inner arches of the feet. Start to rise and roll to dosha. Lock here, in between the legs. As we roll shoulders towards the ears, allow them to melt down your back, palms face forward, shine bright with fingertips. Softening gaze here, closing down the eyes. Feeling the sensation of block between the legs. Just notice how it feels to try and do that pelvic movement, maybe sticking tail out or tucking under. Maybe if you're a little more restricted than normal, that's the block holding your pelvis in neutral position. And drawing our Vata energy down from the crown of our head all the way down through the soles of our feet. Deep into the earth with these strong legs holding onto the block. Circling arms high. We're going to move through our sun A with the block between our legs, bringing palms to touch. Exhale, swan dive, folding forward. And lifting halfway, inhale, we're going to hold here. Just as you did in down dog, I want you to think about shooting the block out from behind you. So in our halfway lift, we've always got gentle internal rotation of inner thighs. Feel what that does to your pelvis. Feel the strength coming into your lower belly. One more inhale. Exhale, release the fold, plant the hands. We can baby step it back, or maybe you hop and jump to your plank. You can hold here in high plank or lower the knees down and find your low plank. Squeezing through the block. Again, maybe ever so slightly try to shoot the block out from behind. Natural curve of tail down, pelvis neutral. Maybe you feel this different in your core here. Having that neutral pelvis, it kind of takes the ability to dump too much or stick the hips high. Back of the head pressing up, chin in towards the chest. Taking a breath in, we shift forward. Exhale, lower all the way to belly. Keep the squeeze on the block as you untuck the toes, press into tops of feet. We inhale, lift to your baby cobra. Exhale to release. Tucking the toes under, press back to your downward dog via child's, or lifting the hips high. Cycle of breath here. Lifting high on the toes, we gaze forward, walking forward to our fold. Lifting halfway, inhale, remembering all of those points. Exhale, folding forward. Circling arms high, inhale. Palms meet overhead, exhale, thumbs draw to heart center. We're going to find a couple of more rounds just like this, just to really imprint that sensation of the block between our thighs before we get moving without it. Circling arms high, inhale. Exhale, swan dive to fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale, forward, plant the hands. We walk or hop back to our plank. Shifting weight forward, inhale. Lower to belly, exhale. Rising to your cobra, inhale. Exhale, release. Toes tuck, hips lift. Downward facing dog. Taking a full breath in. Full breath out. Lifting high on tiptoes, gaze forward, walking forward to fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale to fold. Circling arms high, inhale, palms meet. Exhale, thumbs draw down to heart. Inhale, right. Exhale to fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold, hands plant. We walk back to our high plank. Shifting weight forward, inhale. Exhale, lower to belly. Rising to cobra, inhale. Exhale, release. Tuck toes under, press back down, we're facing them. Cycle of breath. Lifting high on tiptoes, gaze forward, walking forward to our fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold. This time we're rising to our chair pose. Feet hip distance apart. You can measure that with your two fists in between the feet, but the block should really be holding them there. Always option for big toes together, knees together, but just Remembering how your body moves in everyday life, it sometimes makes a little bit more sense to stick with hip distance apart. You want to strengthen the right muscles when you're walking, going upstairs, all those sorts of things. So chair pose, deep bend in the knees. We should still be able to see all 10 toes in front of the knees. Our weight's drawing back into the hips. Hands can stay in prayer at heart center. Or we reach the arms, shoulders are soft open through the heart. Squeezing down the block here. And really releasing that, send tailbone naturally down. One more inhale. And exhale, rise to Tadasana, arms come down by your side. We soften the shoulders, find that nice long line. Coming back to your breath. Grounding from crown of head down to the feet. And then we're going to take the block out from between the legs and meet back into Tadasana. Big hip distance apart. Again, noticing here. Imprint of the block between your legs. Blocking through the knee joints. All those Vata tendencies to collapse into the joints. Coming back to that class that we did on yielding. So Vatas have the tendency to be collapses. So maybe you need to find a tiny bit more strength in your body to support your joints. And give our weight down to the earth, feeling that natural, easeful rebound up for support. I'm going to find a round of sun A without the block between our legs, but I want you to sense that the block is still there, activating all of those internal thigh muscles, keeping pelvis nice and supported and neutral. Circling arms high as we inhale, palms touch. Exhale, swan dive, folding forward. Lifting halfway, gentle internal rotation of thighs, we press the imaginary block out behind. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, we step back to our plank. Feeling the block between our legs. Take a breath in, shift your weight forward. Exhale, lower to belly. Rising to your cobra, inhale to lift. Exhale, belly. Toes tuck under, hips lift high. Find your downward facing dog. Taking a cycle of breath. Lifting high on the tiptoes, gaze forward. We step forward to our fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale to fold. Share pose, weight back into the heels, we sink. Arms lift high, inhale. Imaginary block between the thighs, engaging inner and outer thigh. Engaging right and left glute. Nice and steady as we sink our weight back into the heels. Soft through shoulders, inhale. Exhale, rise to Tadasana. Settling, breath in. Grounding, breath out. We're going to stick with our pelvis in neutral and I'll work through what's called Pada 1 postures, so where our hips are facing square to the front of the mat, so no external rotation. So we're going to keep with this strength of the inner thighs, outer thighs and glutes working together to support the pelvis. So visualizing that block is still there between our legs, using an inhale, circle arms high. Exhale, swan dive, folding forward. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale to fold. Plant the hands, step back, we find downward facing dog. Block between the thighs, we hold for 3 breaths. Imaginary block between the thighs. And floating right leg high. So here we're not opening the hip. We're keeping neutral through the hips, part of one. Both hips are facing down towards the mat. Exhale, tiger curl right knee to nose. We press into the palms, step the foot through between the hands, finding our low lunge. Knee over ankle, hands to blocks if we need here. We sweep the arms high. Right hip draws back slightly, left hip forward. And picturing that block on the inner thigh. We're not knocking, letting the knee fall out. We want to engage the inner thigh to keep that leg, knee, ankle nice and supported. Gentle curve of the tailbone down. Feeling how your pelvis felt when both legs were together. We blocked between the legs. Can you maintain that same muscular engagement of all of those little tendons, all of those muscles holding you in place? We zip up through our tummy as we inhale. Maybe arms are already high. As you exhale, release, frame the front foot. Step back to left plank. Moving through vinyasa or coming straight back to downward facing dog. Opening through the heart, inhale. Exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg extends high. Exhale, tiger curl, right knee to nose again. We step the foot between the hands. This time we find crescent lunge or we release back to low lunge. Knee over the ankle. Nice big opening through that back foot. Gentle engagement on the inner thigh. Hips are square to the front of the mat. Just checking that right foot is stepped out right from your hip joint. Full breath in. Full breath out. As you exhale, release, frame the front foot. Moving breath by breath, take an inhale long through the spine. Then exhale, we ground the heels up to flex the foot as we lengthen the right leg in. Inhale, lunge into right knee. Exhale to lengthen. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, bend into right knee, step forward to your fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale to fold. Circle arms high, inhale, palms in. Exhale, thumbs draw to heart center. Finding chair pose, inhale, sink back into heels, fingertips sweep. Exhale, release, folding forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step to your downward dog. Cycle of breath. And using your inhale, mindful of that left hip not wanting to pop open, we press the back of the heel up towards the ceiling. Three-legged dog, and exhale, tiger curl, left knee to nose. We step the foot through between the hands, lower the right knee down. Checking knee over ankle, we rise. Hands can come up or overhead. Imaginary block inside that left inner thigh. Foot stepping straight out from the hip joint. Left hip back slightly, right hip forward. Natural curve of tailbone down, neutral pelvis, long through core, lower rib cage hugs in. Take an inhale. And exhale to release, we frame the front foot, stepping back to our plank. Weight shifts forward, inhale. Exhale, lower today. Rising to cobra, inhale. Exhale to release. Toes tuck under, hips lift high, downward facing dog. And once again, left leg rises, inhale. Exhale, we curl left knee to nose. Foot grounds between the hands, we rise to our crescent lunge. Feeling into all of those points. And see if we can find a 90-degree bend in the ankle. That's okay if it's not quite a stack over the ankle. We just don't want the knee going beyond the ankle. Neutral pelvis, hips square to front of mat. Zip up through the midline shoulders. One more breath in. Exhale, release, straighten the front foot. Lengthen through the spine, hands stay grounded. Inhale. Then exhale, we ground the left heel, peel the toes towards our face. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale to lunge, we step forward to our floor. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale. Circle arms high, inhale, palms touch. Exhale, thumbs draw down to heart. Releasing arms down by your side. Full breath in, we ground on the exhale, down through soles of feet. Your 2 blocks towards the very front of your mat. You may want them during our pyramid pose. On Tadasana, once again, we find chair pose, weight into the heels, sweep the fingertips, inhale. Exhale, fold and forward. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale to fold. We step back, moving to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, floating right leg high, inhale. Exhale, curling right knee to nose, step the foot through between your hands, taking warrior 1. So back foot grounds on a 45-degree angle, right knee stacked over right ankle. Floating arms high, we inhale. Now here we want to think more so shoulders square to the mat, just to protect our lower back. We don't want to crank the hips square to the front, which is traditionally taught, but that's more so for when yoga was first designed for male bodies. So protecting your sacroiliac joints here, because ours tend to move a lot if you're a woman behind the screen there. So we're pressing into the blade edge of the back foot. Here I really want you to think about the block between the inner left thigh. So it's almost like a spiral effect with the back leg. We're slightly internally rotating left thigh, it's engaged. And then we're pressing out into the blade edge of the back foot. Feel that stability there. And that space still in the lower back as we send the shoulders and chest forward. Knee again on top of the ankle. Taking a breath in. And then as you exhale, start to lengthen the leg long. Finding pyramid pose, so maintaining the structure through your pelvis, keeping the same setup. All we're doing is hinging and folding forward. So hands can stay on the hips. Maybe you want a little more core strength and keep arms up and overhead, or you can take reverse prayer behind your back. Nice and long through the spine as you inhale. Think about corkscrewing the mat with the feet as you hinge at the hips to fold yourself forward. Hands can find the blocks here also. We want to think length through the spine, strong through the legs. We're not collapsing into the knee joint here. You tend to lock out your knees. Think about energetically pressing your right shin forward. And then keeping the length of the spine, you may start to draw your nose down towards your shin. Inner arches of feet engaged. Grounding down strong with the legs. Keep that imaginary block inside the left inner thigh. One more breath in. And then exhale, soften into right knee. We step forward to our fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale to fold. Circle arms high, inhale, palms touch. Exhale, thumbs draw to heart. Chair pose, inhale. Exhale, fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold. Stepping back to our downward facing dog. Breathing in. Breathing out. Left leg rises high, inhale. Tie the curl left knee to nose, stepping the foot through between the hands. Prepping for our warrior one, maybe shorten your stance slightly. Back foot 45-degree angle. Knee stacked on top of left ankle. We rise and float the arms high. Finding your setup here, pressing into blade edge of back foot, but engaging left inner thigh. Shoulders square to the front of the room. Lunging nice and deep into that left knee. Still engaging left inner thigh, squeezing left glute. Zipping up through the core. So many things to think about. Keeping our Vata brain focused. On some of our Vata brain. We might not all have a complete Vata brain. And taking in one more breath. Full breath out. And start to lengthen through the left leg. Again, you may want to shorten your stance for pyramid. Taking your arm option here, hands to hips, hands overhead. Maybe reverse prayer behind your back, lifting up tall as you inhale. Think about corkscrewing the mat with your feet, pressing them anti-clockwise into the pinky toe. An option for hands to the blocks. You should be feeling nice and spacious through the lower back here. Not collapsing into our joints. Breath still steady. One more inhale. Maybe we find a fold forward, keeping the length through the spine. Aiming for nose towards the shin, not so much nose towards the knee. The torso is longer than that. And gently coming to soften the left knee. Stepping forward to your forward fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale to fold. Circling arms high, inhale, palms knee. Exhale, thumbs draw down to the heart. Chair pose, inhale. And then as you exhale, start to rise onto your tiptoes. Think as though the blocks between the legs are squeezing inwards as you lower all the way down onto our heels. Finding a gentle balance here, hands can come into prayer. Start to press in the thighs together. We can hold hands to block at our hips if we need. So lifting up and out of pelvis, nice and long through spine. And hands beside the hips. We lower all the way down to our glutes and continue all the way down to your back, taking a block with you. And finding a few moments in our supported bridge pose, so grabbing a hold of your block, using the flat or longest face of the block, just making sure you place it on your sacrum and that it's covering both of your sacroiliac joints. That's why we don't really want to use the skinny side of the block. Use 2 blocks if you want a little more height, but try not to put the block on its highest face, just in case it's not quite wide enough for your lower back to pelvis. Those joints that like to move around a lot. And just letting the block take the whole weight of your pelvis. Maybe arms reach up and overhead. You can keep them down by your side. take your knees width distance, other than that, knocking in towards one another. Finding any final movements for your body to feel balanced. Might feel really nice here to take a happy baby pose. Maybe a gentle twist from side to side. Making your way into Savasana, extending your legs long, or maintaining that bend in the knees. Here, and on your back you again. And a few cycles of breath, finding that figure eight motion around the pelvis. Allowing the mind to drift. Sinking the body deep into the earth. Letting it cradle and hold you completely. And share our practice. Keep grounded here. Your body needs it. Alright, raise your practice with me. Bringing thumbs to touch, thumbs to third eye center. Repeating in your mind, I create my own reality. Bringing thumbs to lips, I speak my truth. Bringing thumbs to heart, I follow my heart. Deep breath down all the way into the pelvis. Full breath out. And like that, your body feels good for the rest of today. You might notice the freedom or the lightness through the hips, the strength through the hips. Maybe feeling a little more even through your whole body. Love to know how you feel. Let me know in the comments or send me a message. Thank you very much for joining on day 11. Well done. Namaste.